Hello, this is Dana Hawke with the Museum of the American Indian in Novato with Wildcraft Cooking with an Indigenous perspective. And I'm not really cooking today, but I do want to introduce some hopefully new friends to you. And we're talking about weeds because I think we were all taught that weeds are the enemy. So we're going to try to get an Indigenous perspective of these wonderful, amazing plants. And it is deep into spring now, and everybody is weeding, including myself a little bit. But the weeds I went out and found in my yard this morning, I found 5 powerhouse weeds that are amazing food and medicine, and my favorite food as medicine. So we're going to jump in and talk about some of these. The first one I want to talk about is mallow. So here's our mallow, the little bit of a flower, and mallow is really interesting. I know everyone's seen it. This is a tough little weed that you can find in parking lots. Actually, probably all of these just come up everywhere. And mallow makes you think of marshmallow, and the marshmallow candy actually originally had the sap from this plant's root mixed in with it, and now they use gelatin or something that's terrible. But it actually used to be in a medicinal candy. The original marshmallow candy was medicinal. Another interesting thing about mallow is the seed or the fruit, which is sometimes called the cheese, which totally weirds me out. So I'll just call it the seed, which isn't available for me to show you now, but it's pretty obvious when it grows a little bit later in the season on the mallow. Is a great food, and you just pick it and pop it in your mouth. It's really fun for wildcrafting with children. It tastes nothing like cheese. It tastes like kind of nutty, like a sunflower seed. So one of the words that always is associated among herbalists and wildcrafters with mallow is mucilaginous, which is a fun word because you can tell if you kind of crunch up the leaf in your hand, there's like this kind of sliminess, mucilaginous texture. And even more so in the root. The root, the stem, and the leaf are all edible. I do like these in a salad. I chop them fine or take the youngest, most tender leaves are best for raw. They also cook up great for sauteing. And because of the mucilaginous texture, they're great for thickening stews and soups. And I've heard they're great in gumbo. So they really, really are versatile. And all of these plants are I started to write notes about like lists of all the properties, all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the health benefits, and it's too much. So I'm going to only touch a little bit on what each of the properties are because there's just so much. There's dozens of vitamins and minerals. But basically I'll just tell you a few for each. This is a big anti-inflammatory. It helps to heal the digestive tract as well as the urinary tract. Now we're moving on to kind of the slightly wilted now, because it just wilted right away, dandelion. So I feel like as children, we all loved the dandelion because we can make wishes. And then once we grew up, we loved to hate the poor dandelion. And the dandelion's a powerful plant too. You can eat the flower, the leaf, and the root. Some people make a coffee alternative out of the root. The greens are wonderful raw and in a salad. They're a slight bitter, so they're good for digestion with the bitter property. Again, they're good as cooked greens. You can boil them, put them in a soup. You can fry the little flowers into fritters. They can be added to omelets. They're good as decoration on top of cakes, the flowers. If you want to do a deep dive, you can make dandelion wine, dandelion beer. So it's just endless for dandelion. And again, powerful, potent antioxidants and about a dozen vitamins and minerals in dandelion. And you can do way more reading about recipes and health benefits of dandelion. It's kind of off the charts. So now a dandelion can be your friend. So this one's so-called miner's lettuce, and it is called that because the miners in the gold country were suffering from scurvy, and the local native people introduced them to miner's lettuce and saved their lives. And so some people like to honor the native people by actually calling it Indian lettuce, which I kind of like that change. This is you've seen it everywhere. It's in the woods, it's in parking lots, it's everywhere. It's a nice mild flavor. It's great raw. You can also cook it. You can steam it and boil it and saute and stir fry. I feel like that Forrest Gump scene when Bubba Gump's talking about all the ways with shrimp. It's an amazing source of vitamin C, hence the healing scurvy, and it has iron, beta carotene, protein. It's a really easy one to work with because of the mild flavor. Really sweet one. And moving on to cleavers. So a lot of people are intimidated by cleavers, also called the hitchhiker plant, because it feels like Velcro and it gets stuck in your dog's fur and on your clothes and hiking. It doesn't seem like something you could eat. Most people would say, just cook this one. This isn't going to be a salad. But I have been known to throw cleavers leaves into the blender for a smoothie, and it just blends up all the kind of stretchy stuff. So just kind of play with that one. Maybe start with it as a cooked green. Some people make a tea or a tincture from the brightest, youngest greens. It calms the urinary tract and gastrointestinal tract. It stimulates the lymphatic system. So that's just a little bit of the health benefits of good old cleavers. The next one is this sweet little plant called chickweed. It has a teeny tiny flower, and it's also packed with vitamins and minerals, and it's believed to support in healthy weight loss and helping with the digestive system and any inflammation in the body. It's great raw. It's wonderful in salads. It has a mild flavor. You might want to take a pass if you're allergic to anything in the daisy family. That was the only kind of warning that I got about this. One of the things I really want to point out overall is, if you're picking from your yard or somebody else's yard, just be sure no one sprayed any poison for that. I think it's 5 years you have to be clear of any kind of poison like Roundup, to be clear. And if you are picking in the parks, if you're taking a nibble of Indian lettuce on the side of the trail, I wouldn't worry. If you're doing a major harvesting, you really need to check in again, like I've said before, with your friends, the rangers, to see if that's okay to harvest in the parks. And these are all just this is free food. So go explore. There's way more. Like I said, I just picked the 5 that I saw in my yard this morning, literally. And do the deep dive and read up and make friends with these so-called weeds. Have fun and be sure to eat your greens.